Hello, students. Are you excited for a fun learning session today? But before that, I would like to introduce myself. I am Frederick Faz, a teacher from the Philippine Science High School, Mimaropa Region Campus, and I am here as your tutor to share to you on how we're going to calculate the exact value of the sine and cosine under trigonometric functions. Are you ready? Let's get it on. Before we formally start our discussion for today, I would like to present some problems that we will answer later after we discuss our topic for today. But before that, do you have any idea on what is the value of cosine 15 degrees? How about sine 105 degrees? Do you have any hint on how we're going to solve for the exact value of this cosine 15 degrees and sine 105 degrees? Anyone? So let's proceed. To help us calculate the exact value of the problems that we have earlier, let's recall the special angles or the values of the sine and the cosine of these special angles. We have 0 degrees, 30, 45, 60 degrees, and the 90 degrees. So we have 30, 45, 60. So we are going to use this first diagonal line or first the side of this stair as our cosine, as our x coordinate, and the other side of the stair, which is the sine that represent the y coordinate of each degrees. Let's count. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's count again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. After placing these digits in our stairs, next step is to take the square root of each digit. So 4, square root of 3, up to square root of 0. Then, after that, we take the square root of this side. 3, square root of 2, square root of 1, square root of 0. Then, after taking the square root, we're going to divide all each digit by 2. Then, after simplifying, we now have this simplified method, the stairway method. So this method will help us to calculate the problems or the cosine and the sine function without using a calculator. So take a look at the given values. So cosine of 0 is 1. Cosine 45 is equal to square root of 2 over 2. Next, cosine 90 is 0. Sine 60 is square root of 3 over 2. Sine 30 is 1/2. And sine 0 is 0. So are you ready now to calculate the sine and the cosine functions without using a calculator? Okay, so let's proceed. Let us first discuss the sum and the difference formulas for the sine and the cosine functions. So for sine A plus B, we have sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. For the difference, sine A minus B, sine A times cosine B minus cosine A sine B. For the cosine, we have the sum of two angles is equal to cosine A cosine B minus sine A times sine B. For the difference, we have cosine A times cosine B plus sine A times sine B. So after this, we're going to compute or calculate the given angles that we have earlier. So we have cosine 15 degrees. Since we have all these special angles here, and how are we going to compute 15 degrees from these special angles? So we're going to use 45 degrees and 30 degrees. So cosine 15 can be written as 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. Since 45 minus 30 is equal to 15. And we have the rule or the formula for cosine A minus B, or the difference of the two angles, is equal to cosine A cosine B plus sine A times sine B. So this will be our formula to compute for the cosine 15 degrees. So we're going to let A 45 degrees and B 30 degrees. So cosine 45 times cosine 30 plus sine 45 times sine 30 degrees is equal to, so from this stairway, we have cosine 45, so we have square root of 2 over 2. Cosine 30, square root of 3 over 2 plus sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2 times sine 30 is equal to 1/2. So simplify, square root of 6 over 4 plus square root of 2 over 4. Then we have square root of 6 plus square root of 2 all over 4. So this is now the value of our cosine 15 degrees. This is the exact value. Did you understand? Okay. Let's have now problem number 2. We're going to calculate the value of, or the exact value of sine 105 degrees. So we're going to compute 105 degrees from these special angles. So we're going to use 60 and 45. Since if we add 60 and 45, the sum is 105. So we have sine 60 degrees plus 45 degrees. So we're going to represent A 60 degrees and B 45 degrees. So let's use the formula for sine, or the addition of two angles of using sine. We have sine A plus B is equal to sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. Are you ready? So using the stairway method, you can find the value of sine 60 times cosine 45 plus cosine cosine 60, sine 45 degrees. So sine 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine 45 is square root of 2 over 2 plus cosine 60 is 1 half. Sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. So simplify, square root of 6 all over 4 plus square root of 2 all over 4, or we add square root of 6 plus square root of 2 all over 4. This is now the value of sine 105 degrees, which is equal to the square root of 6, which is square root of 2 all over 4. Did you enjoy? Or have you learned something for this topic? So as we explore the values of cosine 15 degrees, its sign is positive since 15 degrees is located at the first quadrant and x-coordinate is positive. For sine 105 degrees, its sign is positive since 105 degrees is located in the second quadrant and the sign of the y-coordinate is positive. So we recall the sign of the x and y coordinate of the different quadrants that we have in a coordinate plane. To fully enrich your skills in calculating the exact value of the sine and cosine functions, let's try answering number 3. Let's find the value of sine 195 degrees. So as we plot sine 195 degrees in a coordinate plane, this is located, or the terminal side of this angle is located at quadrant 3. So we're going to use the special angles in calculating its value. So now we're going to incorporate reference angle. So we're going to use sine 135 degrees plus 60 degrees. And we're going to use sine, or the sum of the two angles, A plus B, is equal to sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. So we're going to find the value of sine 135 and its cosine. So we're going to use the reference angle that I mentioned earlier. So if we're going to draw 135 degrees in a coordinate plane, or its terminal side, 135 degrees is here at the second quadrant, and its reference angle from the first quadrant is 45 degrees. So if we're going to use the values of the sine and cosine of 45 degrees, we're going to use it in 135 degrees. Note that at the second quadrant, the value of x is negative. So we have negative square root of 2 over 2 and positive square root of 2 over 2 as the coordinates of the terminal side of 135 degrees. So we're going to use these values to solve for the value of sine 195 degrees. So let's proceed. Sine of 135 degrees is the y-coordinate, which is equal to square root of 2 over 2. Cosine 60 is 1 half. So this is 135. This is 60 degrees. This is 135 degrees. and this is 60 degrees. Plus, cosine of 135 is the x-coordinate, which is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2 times sine 60 is equal to square root of 3 over 2. Then, simplify. Square root of 2 times 1 is equal to square root of 2 over 4 plus negative square root of 2 times square root of 3 is equal to negative square root of 6 over 4. Then, simplifying, we have square root of 2 minus square root of 6 all over 4. So, this is now the value of sine 195 degrees using the special angles and reference angles. Aside from the stairway method that I discussed earlier, this short poem will help you also to master the values of the special angles that we have. So please repeat after me as I read the poem. Entitled Sine and Cosine. Angles, angles, angles. Acute, obtuse angles. But in all the angles in the kingdom, only 5 is special for this wisdom. Lo and behold degrees 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. Lay them increasing and horizontally. Now put a column of a trigonometric function, as cosine and sine will now be put into action. Know that y values represent sines, and x values correspond to cosines. 0 to 4 lines up after sines, and its opposite follows cosine. Square root 0 to 4 and 4 to 0. Then have them all to be the hero. Here the sine and cosine, the special angles, were evaluated their mystery this angle. So did you enjoy reading the poem? I hope you like it. And you can master the values of the special angles from 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90 degrees. So thank you for watching and see you next time in our next session. And I hope that you learn and enjoy as we help you enriching your minds.